Morning, Vladimir. How are you?
Hello.
And
Hello from Latvia.
welcome from London. Thank you very much for joining us today and to help us kind of kick off TFT 12 in EMEA. It's just fantastic that you're here to share this journey with us. It's early in the morning in London. It's 5 a.m. What time is it with you?
7 a.m. here. 9 a.m. in Moscow.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, it's gone fantastically well so far. We've had amazing response via Twitter. There's been lots of discussion about how TFT is kind of bringing knowledge and information to people that aren't able to perhaps get out and attend conferences, which I think is, fantastic. And I'm really lucky because, I get to spend a lot of time at conferences and travel all over the world. But actually, I've never had an opportunity to see you speak. So for me, this is amazing as a host. I'm kind of getting to benefit from being part of TFT 12 and listening to you speak for the first time. So, I'm really excited. I've had a sneak preview of your presentation, and there's some amazing Ice Age references in there, so I'm very excited about that. I think probably for the audience, Vladimir, could you just perhaps tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of what you bring to TFT? That would be lovely.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody. Hello.
I can't do that. There you go. Or maybe that hand. Who knows?
I am IT service management and project management consultant. Actually, when I was managing projects for Teleson era, telecom back in 90s, I had strong association of the image of IT service management expert to the Mr. Spock. So this is why I say hello in this way. Mr. Spock from Star Trek, half human, half Vulcan. He was definitely not from that planet. And even when I became myself, the expert association still remains. Because to my mind, there is still big gap between experts and practitioners.
There is, that's very true.
On this, I will elaborate more and share my journey, how it was, my search of the pragmatic balance.
Lovely. And am I right in saying that you're involved in Real ITSM in Russia? Is that a kind of website with news information and facts and figures for the community?
I'm involved in a number of communities, IT Service Management Forum in Latvia. Also, I have possibility to work with all countries where Russian and English languages are spoken. So I'm visiting IT Service Management Forum in Moscow quite often, and I'm part of the society there.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I think if it's good for you, we're probably about ready to kick off with your presentation. So I will hand over to you. If anybody has any questions that's listening live, you can post those through Twitter, and if you can use the hashtag TFT12, and also it would be quite useful if you could use a hashtag which would be hashtag QFS, so that means that we can identify specific questions for the speakers, and I'll collect any of those for you, Vladimir, as we go through, and I'll ask those at the end. So I think for me, we'll hand over to you, and when you're ready, if you could share your screen and share your presentation with us, that would be marvelous.
Perfect. First of all, before I share, I'd like to once again to remind you this, Mr. Spock, and this huge gap between practitioners and experts. Actually, when I saw version 2011 ITIL is coming, then I thought, yes, that will become simple. No, it didn't. It became more up-to-date, but increased this gap because the overall amount of information, number of books, complexity grew. And I live in a small country. It's like this.
Yeah.
We have only 2 million inhabitants. And we need very pragmatic and light solutions here. So today I will share this case where we've been trying to find the balance between these experts and practitioners. And we have implemented Kanban board as a way to run IT service management improvement initiative in one of the top 10 insurance companies in Russia. So let me start the presentation. Here it is. No time to work on improvements? Find it with Kanban. I will not run long introduction of myself. I just invite you to find my profile on the LinkedIn and connect. I have quite long background in the project management. I teach project management and part of project management association, and I'm assessor of project management. So the case I'd like to tell was like this. Can you guess what it is? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's chewing gum. And the name is No Time. And this no time culture is often seen in many organizations. And people become very inventive. Instead of giving themselves time to brush teeth, they invent chewing gum. And in organizations, it's the same what happens. People get into vicious cycle of not having time, so they don't have time to work on improvements. And no surprise, like on this picture, many have reported that they feel like this, especially in operations. They put a workaround in one place, they release a patch in another, they're trying to fix the falling down system or a number of systems, and trying to reach the balance. The case where we have learned this in a hard way is a top 10 insurance company. It's fairly big, many branches in the regions, and more than 100 people, IT staff, more than $10 million IT budget, multiple help desks. And when we did audit based on ISO 20000 and developed the roadmap for the journey in IT service management, then it was clear. The starting point is very low. They are on a low process maturity level. Don't have even SLAs with business. And IT management felt like this squirrel, trying to hold the organization, trying to hold inside organization, because if things would continue in the same direction, it would be matter of the time when talks about outsourcing IT would start. So they needed the answer, and IT service management is the answer, but it hardly can be implemented by these books and everything what is written. They knew from the beginning that they need to do something, that they are not on a position to have trust from the investors on a level that they will be given budget and resources to run IT service management program, big program implementation. So they needed to do something, and something always better than nothing. So the approach we have chosen was to adopt and adapt bits and pieces instead of running full-scale implementation. On this slide you see that it's a famous cycle. Deming cycle that people say when I ask them. And on the left you see handwriting on Deming when he refers to this model as a Schuchert cycle. Schuchert was his mentor, so Deming just was not inventing this model, he was just more successful in marketing. But the idea is quite simple. You plan a change, you carry out, then you check, you study the results, and then you act, you either implement a change or you abandon it, and you run cycles more and more, and your operations become a cycle. Everything you do becomes cycles. So one of the important tasks we have done was the gathering of all stakeholders. In these big organizations, it's always you have stakeholders with high influence and high interest, and you can rank them, and that's what you need to do in order to see the horizon, to see who are the key players, and you then manage them closely, who are the guys with high influence, and you keep them satisfied, and who are the affected, and you better keep them in the loop. You send them updates of information, and this is what we decided when constructed the communication package. And the others, you need to monitor them, because suddenly their influence or interest could change. Okay? Next, it's people in organization. They know what are organization strengths, what are weaknesses. The issue you are solving there as a consultant is not that you are giving them a light or something. You show a way to the light. You give them possibility to go away from the vicious life cycle of not having time to implement improvements. So we just organized a number of focused workshops with the experts to collect the issues they knew. We just arranged them per area of IT service management, and we pulled the information about possible solutions. Yes, we gave some recommendations, and then sat down with upper management, with CIO, and set the priorities. We draw the red line. Where are the must things, which are nice to have? So in the end, we had roadmap. We had roadmap, and that's nothing more than just your own strategic plan on the journey towards business and IT alignment. And one thing that I was aware of, they weren't, and then they were willing to get into trap, but we succeeded to not trapped. While working on the big picture, do not forget to show progress by implementing quick wins. So you need to build up credibility. You need to give constantly messages. We are doing something better. And this is where many IT implementations fail and stuck in analysis paralysis, over-analyzing the situation. Okay? So I promised to tell about Kanban. So what is a Kanban? Literally, it's a signboard or billboard. It's a scheduling system for lean and just-in-time production. It's known from Toyota manufacturing system, but nowadays it's adopted in many fields of not related to production, not only IT. So I will give you reference where you will find different designs of Kanban boards available. So this is how the original Kanban board looks like, and this is how simplified Kanban board look like. Pretty simple. You have a to-do column with a backlog of items you need to do. You have a column with items you have doing something with. You can arrange them in different way. Here they are arranged per resource, per person in charge. And you have last column, when the things are done, you show that it's done. And then you design the table to your situation. You make it more complex, but the principle remains. And one of the key principles in Kanban is to limit work in progress. So you have less items on your shoulders, and you spend less time on switching the context. So you become, by this, more productive. And another very important factor that increases productivity is that you pull work when you are able to do it, instead of work being given to you and piling up on your desk. And it's a teamwork to decide how to run it forward. So start small. This is photo of real desk, the first draft we have created in the room where IT management of that company sat. So that was, again, very important message immediately. Everyone who walks by, sees, oh, something interesting. And they had by that time struggle implementing Scrum for their development teams. And after developers have noticed that management actually is using something similar for their prioritization of work, wow, developers started to be more committed to do Scrum. So what is here? Let me choose a pen and show. One column is a backlog. We have put here very high granularity items that were prioritized out with CIO that this needs to be done. And here we have even numbers. What are priorities for these items? Again, as far as it's about finding what kind of improvements you do, we have designed this part for our needs. We have given a lot of space for decomposing tasks so they can be defined not bigger and not smaller, but something, chunk of work that can be done within 1 week by each division manager. Each color on this paper represents one division manager. So he was taking from decomposed tasks to the chosen to implement the ones that were prioritized by CIO or product owner. And then we had here this field for decomposed tasks. And we added one more additional, the goal, just to keep a reminder why we do this stuff. We have also column in process, done, and effect confirmed by business. That's a simple design, and the important Here, why it's called Kanban is that we have limit of work in progress. So start small and scale fast. With each next iteration, you develop more and more, you add more decomposed tasks. You could structure and or gram your backlog and have more tasks in progress. And you see immediately some things became done. So, one more thing that we have added in order to make this effort sustainable was that we agreed on some sort of values that we follow. And we have taken 7 values from Agile, defined 7 values from Agile principles, and 7 values that we inherited or stolen from Lean practices. I will list them later on, but when we have defined them, we have written them on A4 paper and have put this in the corner of this desk Kanban board. Why values? Why not just rules? The idea is to give more space to the commanders in the field. It's a Colin Powell who have told that the commander in the field is always right and the rear echelon is wrong unless proved otherwise. So the division managers and their staff, they are more in the business. They need the freedom. The freedom to solve things gives more engagement to the staff. So values give more space, more engagement. Don't give rules to people, give values. So 7 values we adopted from Agile. Bring ideas. Everybody shall top up backlog. For example, we had the issue that some people very shy on proposing stuff and some keep adding stuff, etc. You need to agree, and they have done it, agreed. We are the team. We need input from everybody. No free riding here. Next, participate. What form? That's a typical stand-up meetings from Agile, and just 3 points of on agenda. What is done, what is planned, and what are barriers or impediments. So what you need help from other teammates with. And you keep the agenda short and progress speedy. Third value, share ownership. So the product owner, it's not a dark man. It's the owner of the vision. He represents the customer, but he could correct the priorities only weekly. He does not micromanage. So it's a team who manages themselves and decides on the priorities and what each week is the improvement to do. It's self-managing team. Keep busy and be fair. So it's important to learn the hard way the decomposition to the chunks of work that can be done within a week. Don't define too small or too big tasks. Be fair to your teammates. It was not simple, and too many factors that play a role here. So this capacity of the team is unique in each organization, and the team needs to explore it. And this is why we need to keep the focus stable. So the focus is on ITS service management program improvements. if we start adding stuff from different fields and areas of operations, it will be hard to manage. And another thing from Agile, and you could look at the website Limited VIP Society org and read more about Kanban board. Focus on making progress. So it's important to limit number of tasks that have been started and not finished. For example, 1 or 2 per person, maximum 3 per. But this rule can be flexible while team is exploring, understanding its capacity. It can be changed. So that's very different from Scrum, where you don't change rules so flexible. And this is why the last but not least value, that values and these rules are flexible. You add more or remove stuff when you as a team feel you need to. So this is about 7 things we have taken from Agile. And what about Lean? What is Lean? Lean is just a production practice that considers expenditure of resources for any goal other than creation of value for the end customer to be wasteful, and focuses on this waste elimination. You probably have heard different strange, maybe for someone that's a daily work, but for me it's still strange words. Muda, muri, mura, that's a type of waste. But if you want to explore more on the Lean, it's nowadays applied to many areas, and you have strong, interesting movement of Lean startup and etc. You can Google and find more. But I will give just 7 Lean principles that we transformed into values that were used by this particular team of IT managers in Russia in order to make progress in their IT service management initiative. So first, do it right from the first time. Do some planning ahead, some thinking. Second, focus on what is important today, what matters. And this is not obvious because some improvements that CIO have seen as very, very important for our organization might have the opposite priority for some department managers. And you need to have agreement here. And maybe it's just a matter of priority in this moment of the time. Next, talk less, more action. We have noticed that some people in the stand-up meetings speak so much, and they continue speaking and speaking. And you know, that's good that we had this reminder. Talk less, more action. Next, always think about improvements and efficiency. It's good value, especially for techy IT guys. They like gadgets, so IT guys will have no problem with this. But you need to say that improvements and efficiency, it's not only about tools. It's also improving the way of your thinking and following these values that you have agreed on more thoroughly. Solve the root cause and not the side effects. It's not just about problem management. It's more wide. It's a thinking. Waste. Fight the waste. You see waste, you fight it. And last but not least is a built-in continuous improvement. Some could say it's CSI. Yes, it's not only, I would say. It's for sure just reviewing the efficiency of the process and implementing improvements on to the way you do things. So one of the practical things we have changed after some rounds of stand-up meetings, and then was minimize time spent in front of the board. So moving debates to separate meetings, strictly following agenda, and avoiding waste in communications. Second, we realized that yes, we need to improve more process of decomposition of the goals to tasks, and actually agreed the way how we will do it by learning to define work into equal chunks, not too small, not too big. You need to learn it, and each time we have run stand-up meetings, they become better and better. Preparing definitions of decomposed task priority meeting. So it was really issue on one of the first meetings when people just stood in front of the board and started to trying to invent definition of what needs to be written on this yellow sticky note. It's not the way how it shall work. You prepare definitions prior. Updating backlog immediately when idea hits your head. So they sit in this room. So actually, if someone is in the room during the night solving the operation issue, that perhaps the most correct time to write the issue on this yellow sticky note and put on the board and have a discussion with the guys. So also the culture things, the discipline things, they all are managers, they hard to manage, and sometimes discipline of the managers could be better. So they noticed that phone is ringing and some of the guys try to combine stand up with typing on a PC something, and they agreed no PC and phone during this meeting. So they also used the 7 principle they adopted we adopted from Agile, that rules can be changed, and they removed column effect approved. They decided it's a waste because it's not used. Later on, when business started to get much more involved and started to ask evidence, they brought it back. And cultural things that as a boss, when you bring the issue up, you sort of reveal your weakness. They needed to overcome this barrier to make sure that they really bring the issues they have in each operation silo to each other and ask each other or product owner for help. Okay? So what are the results of this? Results are simple. They have reached the goal. They're able to execute IT service management program on their own without costly consultants. They just needed one to kick it off. So they had some money left for these nice PCs that you see on the screen. But seriously, the definition of the task was that they are not able to get resources from outside organization to run it. They needed to learn how to do it on their own. and they started this learning thanks to this approach. I give here a little disclaimer that this might not be the most efficient way to introduce changes in organizations. Running the big program using holistic approach could give you better results. But in the situation given, in a pragmatic situation where you need light solution, doing something is always better than nothing. So they got this as a tool to do something, and they did it very good. For your inspiration, I'd like to share some books. For example, Lean from Trenches by Henrik Niebuhr. You can learn about Kanban more in the book by David Anderson. And very good, and by the way, available for free on the net, book by Henrik Niebuhr and Matthias Karen, Kanban and the Scrum, Making the Most of Both. Here you have 3 links, and first is 10 Kanban boards and their context. I have mentioned that there are different designs of the Kanban boards, and if you explore the link, you will be surprised that you could find and design the board for yourself for any field of your organization, even for marketing, sales, not just for IT operations development. Second link, 10 pitfalls when implementing Kanban. Yes, finding the right approach is learning the hard way, on mistakes, learning by doing. But before you start doing your own mistakes, please explore the mistakes that have been already done. And the third is introducing Kanban in operations. And I suppose that quite many of you are in operation. This is your chapter. So let's experiment and share the experiments. I ask you to connect on Twitter and give me a shout when you have something. Make a picture of the Kanban board you have done. I would be very delighted to see that the result of my presentation is not only the entry in YouTube, but also some real experiments in organizations trying out the Kanban. Actually, I have been using this on my fridge to run my family, and we have done preparation of the barbecue party by using Kanban. You can find so many fields to apply it. So here you see my contact information. I invite you to connect on LinkedIn and Twitter. Contact me by this contact information, and thank you very much. Now the questions. I will be glad to answer your questions now.
Hi, Vladimir.
Yes, hi.
Good, thank you. That was just brilliant, that presentation. We'll wait for you to take your screen share off so I can see you. And there you go. Hi, welcome back. That was really fantastic, actually. And one question I had was, oh, hang on, pencils and all. One question I had was, for people that are entirely new to Kanban, would you suggest that kind of running their barbecue is a great way to kind of get them immersed in the process before they start it live in their organization?
Absolutely. Gamification is the way to learn. This is what I do more and more with my students, and I think soon I will end up with just playing Lego and different stuff with students instead of doing reading of the books.
I just have another question. You spoke kind of halfway through the presentation about the kind of 7 values that you've taken from Agile, and I wonder if there's any particular one of those values that organisations find the most challenging to kind of implement and embrace.
Yeah, one of the values that is very difficult, I think it's focus on the scope. Focus on the scope. Why? Because there are always situation changing, and people are getting new ideas, and they are getting more engaged in other projects, and this is why important to keep the drum in organization going. So this weekly stand-up meetings is sort of drum that hits weekly, and you see the progress. You take at least something each week and you do it and you deliver it, and this requires so much of discipline from all organization, so it's really hard.
Okay, and the weekly stand-up meetings, I would imagine they take a bit of getting used to. I know you made reference to the fact that organisations made a conscious decision that there was kind of no PCs, no answering the phone. I presume that takes a little while to embed in a culture of an organisation.
Yes, yes. That's when you are in the trainings, you can notice that in many trainings people come with their computers, and they are even upset if you ask them to close them.
Yes, yeah. You'd be upset if I closed mine now. As we're live on air. Okay, well, I think that's probably it in terms of questions. I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining us first thing this morning. It's been absolutely marvellous having you on board, and actually I think I might have another question. I'll just
Thank
have
you
a
very
comment
much for this brilliant opportunity. I will be looking forward for more events.
And I've just had a really nice comment, actually. I'm looking at a live Twitter feed here, actually, and somebody said, I'm a pragmatist and implementation zealot, so I love that halfway around the world, I know there are brothers in customer service arms, and I really enjoyed and resonated with this experience. So that's great. I'm delighted to share that with you. So thank you very much for helping us make TFT happen, and we will see you very soon. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.